tax. This regime taxes poverty, and now it wants to tax the digital tools through which the poor literally survive. At number 6, strategic assets. Who is selling Kenya? When this government faces a fiscal crisis, and it faces one right now, it looks at what Kenya owns and asks, what can we sell? We are talking about Kenya Post Authority, through which over 90% of Kenya's imports and exports move. We are talking about Safaricom, the company that built M-Pesa, whose government stake generates dividends that belong to every Kenyan taxpayer. In fact, because I'm in court over this matter, I cannot speak much, the Treasury is getting a dividend of 16 billion half term. Therefore, in a year, 16 billion shillings. That is a 15% share that the Treasury is trying to dispose of. It is taxing an asset, it is selling. That is not fiscal management. That is a fire sale. These are not just ordinary companies. They are crown jewels. They are what this country built across generations. And the United Alternative Government will not allow any government to sell them quietly, without consent, without debate, without a 2/3 majority in both houses of parliament. We know that a parliament that is also state captured, like the current government, and we congratulate members of parliament representing the alternative government, because you scream. I remember when you are transacting this matter of Safaricom, or Sita, the deputy minority leader actually went for the mace as if to make a point, and he was expelled for it. Please do something. The country is watching. The alternative government in waiting has produced a fully costed people's budget for 2026-2027. Every figure in what follows is sourced from the same National Treasury documents. The budget summary of April 30, 2026, the budget policy statement, the Finance Bill 2026, those taken together. Our numbers are the government's numbers, rearranged according to a different set of priorities. The framework. On gross expenditure, at 4.318.5 trillion shillings, 499.3 billion less than the Ruto regime. Our total revenue at 3.725 trillion will be less than 95 billion shillings more than the Ruto regime through compliance, not new taxes. Our fiscal deficit will be 593.5 billion, which represents 2.8% of GDP, against Ruto's regimes of 5.3%. Our domestic borrowing will be 500 billion against Mr. Ruto's regime's 995.7 billion. We shall have the pressure on Treasury bill rates and private sector credit in 1 year. We shall restore the development expenditure ratio from the Ruto regime's unconstitutional 29%. That is a statutory breach of the PFM Act, that's Public Finance Management Act, minimum floor, to 33.5%. The children who will inherit this country deserve a government that invests in their future, not merely that services the debts of the past. On education, we shall fully fund free primary education at the statutory 1,420 shillings per pupil per year, closing the 18 billion gap documented in the budget policy statement. We shall fully fund free day secondary education at the statutory 22,244 shillings per student per year, closing the 28.4 billion capitation shortfall under this budget of Mr. Ruto. We will fund JSS capitation in full, and we shall revamp the Kenya school equipment. Total education allocation will be 737.3 billion shillings against the current regime's 668.3 billion. We will cut 22.4 billion shillings from the ministry's 112 billion administrative overhead and redirect every shilling to our children. Free, free means free, all the way from class 1 to form 4 for every Kenyan child. On health, we shall close the 11 billion SHA gap documented at page 29 of the budget policy statement. We'll fund free care at every public hospital up to county level. That is no card at the gate, no system down, and certainly no patient turned away. We shall reinstate Linda Mama as well as reinstate Edu Afya. And make no mistake, we shall cancel the 104 billion SHA technology contract and redirect every shilling to frontline care, stocking dispensaries, paying nurses, buying medicines. We will also increase KEMSA from KEMSA's allocation from 18.8 billion shillings to 30 billion, so that no Kenyan patient is told to go buy their own drugs, as that is the practice. Total health allocation, 242.3 billion shillings against Ruto's 170.7 billion. On jobs, we commit to a national youth employment compact. That is 80 billion over 2 years, 80 billion shillings. A single fund with one accounting officer and one measurable outcome, that is verified jobs created. 200,000 placements in public works infrastructure maintenance, a skills to export pipeline linking technical colleges with verified export sector employers. Zero-rated startup capital for youth-led MSCs employing more than 5 people. Not grants, but contracts, deliverables, and results. 67% of our young people are not idle because they lack ambition. They are idle because the system was never designed for them. We will redesign it. On cost of living, we shall repeal the import declaration fee, the railway development levy, and the road maintenance levy on fuel imports, bringing diesel to approximately 170 shillings per litre. We will also abolish the housing levy. Of course, that abolishment will take into account the legislative aspect. All right? We are not just abolishing without asking you guys to do the needful. And because a lot of you are state captured, the next administration will certainly ensure there's no housing levy. Amen. Our executive order number 1, giving millions of Kenyan workers an immediate increase in take-home pay. That's what my brother Rigiji refers to rescuing the payslip. We shall zero-rate solar panels, batteries, and inverters. We'll introduce a 30 shilling per litre targeted fuel subsidy for certified agricultural use. And we will remove from the Finance Bill 2026 the 16% VAT on M-Pesa platform fees and the 25% excise duty on mobile phones. On fiscal discipline, starting at the top, we will cut state house operations from 12.6 billion shillings to 6.3 billion shillings. We must cut the NIS allocation from 58.6 billion to 35 billion shillings. Kenya is not at war, yet the NIS has doubled since 2020 without proportionate gain. We'll also abolish the 13 billion shillings police motor vehicle leasing program and procure direct, saving 4 billion shillings over the contract life. We will then redirect the 35 billion shillings in savings from NIS and State House reductions into a national irrigation investment fund covering Garissa, Marsabit, Wajir, Turkana, Kitui, Makueni, Laikipia, and Kajiado. because food security is national security. We will also implement a single treasury account to eliminate ghost workers, duplicate payments, and pending bills that are an Auditor General's verified leakage of 250 billion, all right, a year. And we must congratulate the Auditor General, because there are two ladies I personally respect, the Controller of Budget and the Auditor General. Two ladies who have stood strong in the interests of the Kenyan people. Every contract requires confirmed exchequer backing before work begins. Any accounting officer with an adverse Auditor General report must step aside immediately. Now you may ask, where does the money come from? I'll tell you. 200 billion shillings from the structured sale of stored affordable housing